Angry patients don't get to me. Patients tend to want something from their GP. It's really the reception staff that get in the brunt of the, frankly, bad behaviour from some of the patients. And it's understandable because...
But they're frustrated.
Exactly. But we're frustrated too.
And they're scared.
Yeah, of course. But we're also frustrated. I think what's really important is to bear in mind that the people that go into the NHS and people that are GPs want to help. And sometimes it's frustrating for me as a GP when the fixation is mainly on the numbers of GPs. So obviously we want to, going down to 58 per 100,000 is not good enough. But we have to think about the right kind of people. It's not the absolute number, because what we don't want is... We do want more GPs. What we want is more of the right people.
Well, it's how hard they work. Because there's a lot of evidence. Now, I mean, one thing that's really infuriated people, of course, is online consultations.
Okay.
It suits some people, but for many, they're frustrated by it. They don't like it. But also a lot of evidence that many GPs are not exactly doing a full working week.
Okay, so this is an interesting way of viewing it, because so the online consultation thing is difficult to combat, because often a lot of consultations, and patients do prefer face-to-face. The evidence is out there.
Of course.
GPs also prefer face-to-face, and the evidence is there as well. What is difficult is that because of COVID, because of the fact of infectious control, reduced workforce, is that people are taking on more shifts and working from home and doing more than they used to do.
Well, some of you might be, but I think the evidence is that some aren't. But here's the question for you. Here's the big question for you. I get the point that absolute numbers aren't everything, it's what they do, and I completely get that point. But how do we get more of the right people into being GP? Is being a GP an attractive thing to do? I mean, let's face it, the money's pretty good.
Yeah, see, I disagree on two things there. One, I think that some GPs... The idea that some GPs aren't working hard enough is a misnomer. I think to understand what the job is as a GP is exhausting. You do have empathy towards your patients, and that is quite emotionally exhausting. And what we're finding is that you're getting GPs that have been doing this for 30, 40 years, and they've seen the 80s, they've seen the pandemic, and what... People tend to forget that GPs and doctors, and this is talking about the NHS, nurses are human beings. So we have our families to go to. We have to put our kids to sleep.
I get that.
All these things. And what happens is that when the conversation moves on to GPs aren't working hard enough, what it does is it takes away, and you're almost not incentivized because you feel that no one acknowledges that.
Whether that argument is fair or not.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's to say?
Yeah, okay.
But how do we get more GPs? Is it easy to get into medical school? Is it easy to go and do a medicine degree? I mean, I hear that quite a few people going overseas to get medical training, going overseas to do medical degrees.
I think the motivation and, I would say, prestige and the honour, and it is an honour, because being a doctor, for me, and when I look after my patients, there is an element of making people's lives better, and you do that every day, okay? And sometimes you get thanked, and sometimes you don't. Is it hard to get to be a doctor? 100% yes. It's not easy. The medical school is not, I don't look back at it the most enjoyable time of my life, because it frankly wasn't. Do people who are motivated and believe they've got the talent to become doctors go into the profession? Yes, but you have to also bear in mind, and you come from the city, that these are very educated people who could do other things. And what you have to do is almost not give them the stick, but give them the carrot. Because I feel that the talent is there.
All right, so what's the carrot that's needed?
Well, I think it's the shortage is mainly because of a lot of GPs are retiring, but there also is a massive, the largest number of medical students are being trained right now than has ever been done. And what you have to have is there's a bit of a lag, it's a bit of a chaos effect, where we realise we have a shortage, and then we compensate. And it takes a few years to catch up. So to give the government the credit, they are moving towards that. So you
think we're on the right steps, on the right path? I
feel we are on the right path, but I also feel that people like you talking about it is very important, because I think what needs to be done is that people need to start respecting. I know there was a lot of clap for the carers, and there was a lot of we're looking to look after the NHS, but what we need to keep highlighting is it is a hard job. I mean, I came straight from work today. We are getting hammered.
I believe you.
We're getting hammered.